what actions do I need to take to create my goals and to get on with my goals? So we all have to, the actions are there. We've got to do them. But it's great if we break those actions down. So when we think about a goal and we think about the actions, we've got to think to ourselves, when we go through that list, what is our starting point? Like, what's happening now? And what effect will this result have? Where are we going with this goal? Mentoring with Geraldine is a bite-sized practitioner podcast for naturopaths, nutritionists, herbalists and practitioners, responding directly to the needs of the practicing natural therapist. With interviews, herbal discussions, something business, something clinical, you'll get the variety you need to enjoy and stay motivated in practice. So thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review and subscribe to the podcast for our episodes. If you'd like more support, get in contact and I look forward to working with you soon. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mentoring with Geraldine and the Bite-Sized Podcast. How the devil are you? Well, here we are at the end of the month again. How does that happen? And the start of a new one. This year has flown by really quickly and we're not quite at the end yet. So now the podcast will be changing a little bit because it does every year. Every summertime, so over the Christmas break, I have guests speaking because I record it in advance and we have one a week. So do be looking forward to that. We'll have lots of guests on over that summer break. But then because I got the COVID cough and I still struggle with my voice a bit, and the neighbours over the back have started renovating and the house next door is about to be pulled down and the school 2 roads over is enjoying a jackhammer, I'm actually going to reduce the podcast to one a week. So that will be coming up, but not for a little while. So we're going to carry on as normal, but you will notice a change into the new year. Because this month, October, is about change. I mean, it's my birthday month. So I have a lot of looking forward and a little bit of looking backward. And that's what the end of the month is all about, isn't it? We really need to have a look. We need to reflect and we need to set our intentions for the month ahead. In October, I always have a lot. I plan next year. So I sit down in October. I get my huge calendar. I have a big year desk calendar and I put all the school holiday dates in it for all of the states because some of them coincide, some of them don't. And then I put in there what I'm going to be delivering and when. And I've struggled this year a bit because next year I'm going to Peru for 3 weeks. Now, I don't know if I've told you. If you've been in Strictly Education and Support, you may have heard me say that. My daughter has an internship there from, I think, the 1st of January through to 3 months anyway, into March. So it's not the best time of year to travel to Peru in March. It's actually the worst time, and part because of the weather. But when you've got someone there who's going to be able to translate for you, you're going to go anyway, aren't you? So we're going for 3 weeks, end of February, start of March. Now that really messes with the term time for me, and the hours are totally opposite. So what am I going to do? How am I going to put in the graduate program? How will that fit into what I'm doing? And the 90-day program. And I went to brunch with a girlfriend yesterday, Deb Ashton, another naturopath here in Adelaide, who's moving up to Queensland, actually. And I went to lunch with her and we had an amazing session. She's an incredible naturopath. I should get her on, actually. Maybe I'll get her on for Christmas to talk about what she does. That's a really good idea. Thanks for giving it to me, everyone. So, but she's moving, so maybe she can't because she might be too busy. Who knows? But anyway, back on topic. While I was there, I was like, what do I do about the timings? So we had a big chat about it, and it's really good to connect with somebody else and to connect with your mates. And are you doing that? Are you connecting enough with other naturopaths, nutritionists, herbalists, natural therapists that you don't see very often so that you can get a different perspective when you're chatting? You can really look at it from outside of the square. And we talked about my 90-day program and she's come up with some amazing ideas for that for me. She said, well, nobody is looking at how people do things. Nobody's looking at, they had the supervisor in college, but they had lots of people around them because she was a supervisor for a while as well. And she said, they had lots of people around them, but they haven't got that now. What about being able to look at their practices? So the 90-day program is going to change in that I am now going to look at people's practices. So I obviously can't walk into your practice if you're in Queensland or you're in London. I'd love to, but it's not really going to be feasible. So it's going to be a case of me watching your recordings of your sessions and breaking them down, giving you the scripts. There's going to be the 90-day program is going to include a whole bunch more. So if you want the 7 sessions as they stand now, then, and at the price that it's at now, then you need to get in now, because as of the new year, it will be a very different offering. So, and of course, there's the 3 week, which won't be a problem for the 90-day program because there's 3 weeks off while I'm away. So 90 days is always 120, but 90-day program sounds so much better as a sales pitch than 120 days, doesn't it? So 3-month program, 90-day program sounds really good. So those are changes for me. So that was my reflection. That was my connection. Who are you connecting with? What is it that is helping you move forward when you reflect back over this month? There is a download sheet in Podia in where I store everything. So www.geraldineheadley.com, you'll find the podcast download area. And it's just the same one for every month. But you might want to write different things. You might want to do some manifesting and some journaling this month, because October is obviously my birthday month, as I said, but it's also that point in the year that really makes you want to reflect on what's happened this year, but really be projecting forward for next year. You've got an idea of your finances so far, what's happened so far. You've only got another couple of months and you're probably taking some time off. So we can project that what November's going to be, perhaps from last year or from even the last couple of months if you've only been working for that long. If you're a student, then you can be projecting because you're about to have exams are finishing or you're about to have some assignments handing in. End of year stuff is happening. So it's the perfect time to really reflect, not just this month, but look back at those reflections of this year and be projecting forward to next year. So we always ask, what were your biggest wins? What were your biggest achievements? So as I said, do that for this month. But this time round, although it's not the end of the year, have a look back and maybe collect up some of those other achievements, especially if this is your first podcast. You're like, well, I haven't been doing this every month. And I only started doing this on the podcast, because you're here with me, for the last 4 months or something like that. So we've actually got perhaps enough information from the past ones, if you've been doing it, for you to look back and go, yeah, these were what I said were my top achievements then. Because by writing them down, there might be some that you forget. The achievements that you're looking at. So for this month, I break it all down, my mentoring achievements, my personal achievements, my client achievements. But for 4 or 5 months ago, I might forget that I saw a client maybe 3 times, and the 3rd time I saw them, their eczema had totally cleared up. I would put that as an achievement. I've done that in 3 appointments. Wow, that's amazing, because obviously it normally takes longer than that. You get significant improvement, but it wouldn't have totally cleared up for serious eczema. So when we think about, oh, wow, that was an achievement because this person really put their all into it. I followed all my systems. I did everything I wanted to do, and this person's eczema cleared up. That's an achievement. And that happened in maybe July. So here I am in October reflecting back. I might have forgotten that as an achievement. Whereas if I'd written it down at the end of July, then I'd be going, oh, look at that client. There was that eczema case, and then I had that acne case, and oh, look, I've actually got 5 skin cases I was really good at. Maybe I need to think about doing more work and promoting myself as someone who works within the realm of skin. Do you see what I mean? So it's worth making sure that each month we're writing out this information. We're really thinking about what have I achieved so that I can go back and have a quick look rather than racking my brains to think, oh, what happened in July? Well, for me, I got COVID. But what did you do in July? What did you achieve back then? And can you remember? So if you haven't started doing this reflective practice this end of month, maybe start today and go back and try and think what you've achieved. And the other thing is you've got your high points, but what were the low points? What was it that you hoped to achieve and you didn't for whatever reason? Something maybe you put on the back burner or you shelved something. Maybe something didn't go as well. That person came the 3rd appointment for their eczema and then they told you they hated you and that it was awful and that you hadn't achieved anything with their skin. And then when you get down to the nitty-gritty, they haven't actually done anything you've asked, which is what normally happens. But that's also a reflection. How did I ask? Was I asking too much? In what language did I frame those requests? that's going to be part of the new 90-day program, the scripts and practice. How do we communicate what we need to get across to our clients? Because I've got a lot of script work there for people. And so it's like, let's use this in a really formative way so that people can really get their practice working well. Now, we've just done October here. So what are our goals for November? So in the second weekend of November, so the 5th of November, I've got the virtual retreat. But from the 3rd to the 6th, I have an in-person retreat happening here in Adelaide. So I've got the people for the in-person retreat here. Now, I'm only having this one in-person retreat. I've held symposiums, seminars, retreats, and I very much doubt I will run another one. It's a lot of work, but I'm doing it for the joy. I'm doing it for the joy and the experience. I know I can do it. It's not a big problem, but it is a lot of work. And I've made the profit margin pretty much zero. So when one does a retreat, one has to go for a bigger profit margin. So I'm not in it for the profit. I'm in it for the love, for the experience, for the joy, and to give something back to those people really who are coming. So what are our goals for November? So my goal right smack at the beginning of November is a good retreat. I'm currently writing the workbook for the virtual parts for the people in the academy. It's now up to, let me have a quick look. It is now, scrolling. It's now up to 21 pages. Anyway, I'm sure it'll be fine. There's lots of white space on those pages. That's our action plan. So we're working on a grow system. And so we'll be working through that. I'll be working through more of this with the people in the in-person retreat, but the virtual retreat, we will be going through grow. And grow is goals, reality, options, and will. So you need to be part of the academy to do that one. So what are our goals for November? As I said, mine is a retreat, but I'm going to have other goals as well. I'm going to have a few days off after the retreat. Then what are my goals for the group? So everyone in the group gets a one-to-one at the end of the year so that they can really accelerate from that virtual retreat and they get that time with me. So everybody gets a one-to-one. So I have to open my books and get that ready to go for everyone in the academy. Now, what actions do I need to take to create my goals and to get on with my goals? So we all have to, the actions are there. We've got to do them. But it's great if we break those actions down. So when we think about a goal and we think about the actions, we've got to think to ourselves, when we go through that list, what is our starting point? Like, what's happening now? And what effect will this result have? Where are we going with this goal? So, and is our goal targeting a specific area perhaps? And how will we measure our progress towards that goal? So there's lots of actions within the goal that we've got to think about. Can we get somebody else to partake in our goal? So I have 2 VAs. I have a goal for a new website for my clients and a program for my clients. So one of my VAs is working on the website side and on my videos. The podcast that you listen to, Ella, makes sure that everything that you listen to is great. So she does all of that. And Andrea, she's the one I've written the workbooks. We wrote them a long time ago. I had all the recipes. She put them onto PDF books years ago. It's like, let's update those. Let's give them a modern feel. So she's doing that at the moment. So I've assigned tasks to people, things that would take me not necessarily that long to do. I love a bit of Canva. How many pages of my workbook have I already got to? But at the same time, this is something I can totally hand off to somebody else. It doesn't need to be done by me. I've written the recipes. I've written the tea recipes and the food recipes. Somebody else can make them look pretty. I don't need to do that. So, and is it realistic with the resources that you have? Do you have enough resources to achieve these goals, or do you need to look for other resources? So I have Canva Pro, but you could do it all Canva for free. So, or you might be using a different system. I would say that whichever system you choose, you just stick with one, because otherwise you're trying to learn new ways of doing things. So I use Canva, and I only use Canva so I don't have to learn something else. And it also means I haven't got stuff stored somewhere else and I don't know where it is. I'm like, oh, where was that thing that I wrote? If it's in Canva, it's in Canva. I can just go and look for it. So that works really well. Now, is our goal time limited? So my new website, I was really hoping to have it out by the end of the year. That's not going to happen. So I've just reassessed that. This COVID is still hanging around with me. I've still got this cough. I'm still, my neighbour, all the noise that's happening. So I'm limited to when I can do things. So I've pushed that out into the new year. It will hopefully be up and running or happening while I'm in Peru. So when do you want to see the results? When do you want to see this goal happening? What is the time frame around that? So I'm going to leave it at that today because that's actually been quite a long one and the noise has started outside. So it will start getting very clattery for you. So if you've made it all the way through to the end, please review. 5 stars would be very nice. And a review always helps, doesn't it? Just like a review with your business. Maybe that could be one of your goals, setting up your Google My Business and making sure that you get reviews on there. So it's been lovely chatting and I look forward to catching up with you on the next cast. See ya. Thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review and subscribe to the podcast for the weekly episodes. If you'd like even more support and learning, then the Academy is for you. Here you'll find part 2 of the herbal discussions, more clinical learning, and case studies to support your clients in practice. Bye for now.